So, good evening, guys. Um, we'll continue with the ongoing plant science sessions. Today, I'll be dealing with breeding in self-pollinated crops. There were different breeding methods. Yesterday, we saw what are the different types of breeding methods, how we have classified them, like general, special, right? And then involving the hybridization and methods which won't involve the hybridization, all these methods. So today we will dig a Okay. So today we will be just dealing with the different breeding methods in only the self-pollinated crops. Okay. So the first method is like a pure line selection. So based on yesterday's class, can anybody classify under which method does pure line selection falls, whether it is a general method or a specialized method, or does it involve any hybridization or it does not involve?
General method without hybridization.
Mm-hmm. Just a minute. Okay, so you said like pure line selection, it generally falls under general method and it won't involve hybridization, right? Okay. So in this today's class, we will be seeing who gave the theory regarding the pure line theory and what are the main features of that theory. This is most important. What are the main features of this theory? And then what is the effect of self-pollination? So before entering into the class, can anyone say, like, can pure line selection be practiced in both self as well as your cross-pollinated crops? Or any idea?
No, sir.
Okay. So let us just see who gave this theory. So there is one scientist whose name is Johansson. Okay. He was an botanist from Denmark. So he is the one who gave this theory. So do you guys have any idea on which crop did he formulate this theory? On which crop?
Rajma in princess variety.
Okay, Rajma. And someone told princess variety. Good. So nowadays in your MSc entrance exam, they are not directly asking the common name. Okay, they are asking the scientific names. So what is the scientific name of this Rajma? Yeah, it's Phaseolus vulgaris. Okay. Just remember this name and also remember what is the chromosome number of Phaseolus vulgaris. So it is a pulse crop, right? Or a legume one. So now just let us see the theory, the pure line theory by Johansson. So what Johansson did is he went to a market and then he brought a seed lot of Phaseolus vulgaris. And then what he noticed is that there are seeds ranging from a weight of 640 mg to 350 mg. Okay. So it is nothing but your seed lot which has a lot of variation. Okay. And then he just saw the largest seed was with this much weight and then the seed with the smallest weight. So it has ranged from this to this. And then he has classified the seeds based on 100 milligram weight, just like which falls under 600, 500, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So in the 600 range, he has saw the seeds which have the largest bean as well as the seeds with the smallest bean. Both these they used to weigh 600. Similar is the case with your 100 mg. Or okay, so it is just like the one with the largest is also 100, and then the one with the smallest is also just the 100. This is not the actual experiment. I'm just trying to conclude what are the main features of this experiment, how he has conducted. There are only four important outcomes of this experiment, which we will try to understand through this brief concept. Okay. So the thing is, whenever he from the seed lot, he has classified the seeds based on the 100 mg, and then he got the 600 to 100. Let us assume this as an example. So in the 600 mg's lot, what he has found is he has found even the seed with the largest grain and then the one with the smallest grain, they both weighed the same. So can this happen? The seed with the largest one, even the smallest one can weigh the same grain weight. Yes or no? Can this
No, sir.
situation happen? Right? So this situation can happen, right? There might be a condition where filling is more and then filling is less. So this can happen. So what he did is, whenever he saw the largest grain as well as the smallest grain, he sowed them and then he again selfed the seeds. It is he has promoted the self pollination, and then he has obtained all the seeds from large to small from here, and even from here from large and then again to small. So this is the way how he has proceeded. And even again he took this the largest seed, he selfed again, he took the largest seed, he selfed again. At last he has ended up with a all the seeds which are very large, just like their parent. And then here it has a weight 600, so even here 600, 600, all the seeds. Okay. And then in this condition he has selfed the small one, selected the small. So ultimately he has obtained with all the small ones. Okay, so exactly this will not be 600, it will be like 598, something will be like 602, and then something will be like 600. So when he has calculated the mean value, so it was around 600. Okay, both the all the seeds as well as their weight of the parent, it has coincided. Similar is the condition with the small seed. So ultimately he has obtained here it might be 602, here it might be 599, 603, and then the mean weight was again 600. So this is the one with the largest one, and let us consider the another range in 300 mg weight. So similar condition, he has went on selfing. Ultimately, he had ended up with the large, and again selfing, he ended up with the small. So whatever the seeds that he got here, when he has calculated the average weight or your mean weight, it was equal to 300, and then it was again equal to 300. Okay, this is just a brief experiment. It is not the actual experiment, but just to tell you the main features, this is the brief experiment. So one key point is he went on selfing. So what happens if we go on self a certain genotype? What happens?
Homozygosity increases.
Yeah, that is one condition. Homozygosity is attained or it increases from generation to generation, right? Okay. And then any other conclusion that we can see if we go on selfing? Just in, you can put this homozygosity in other terms. It is just like your genotype gets fixed across the plants, right? Can I make this statement like the genotypes across the plants are same?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the genotypes is now fixed. So the first major feature of pure line theory is that continuous selfing. If you go on selfing or inbreeding, what it leads to is that you will ultimately attain the homozygosity, or your homozygosity goes on increasing and increasing to such a state that now it is fixed, that your genotypes are fixed. And then the second feature is, so after continuous selfing from this large seeded Rajma, what he got is all the large seeded Rajmas, and then the weights, the mean weight when he saw it was coinciding with the parental mean weight. So again, if I take this large seeded Rajma, and then if I again self them, and then I got 100 seeds. Let us consider this is the X weight of this seed. X is the weight of parental seed. And then when I calculate the average of all these 100 seeds, what will be the weight based on this theory?
600.
How much?
600.
No, just understand this. This is the large seeded Rajma uh, where I took from it here. And then the weight is X. And then I have grown this plant and then made it to self-pollinate. And then I have obtained 100 seeds of the Rajma. And then what I have calculated is the mean weight. Okay. Then what will be the weight, mean weight of all these 100 seeds? Did you understand this experiment first? See, the experiment is like large seeded Rajma, which has 600 milligrams of seed upon continuous selfing. Okay. He has obtained one large seeded Rajma. And then when at last he has selfed this one large seeded Rajma, which has 600 mg weight, and then he has obtained four seeds. Okay. Where one of the seed weight is 598, one is 602, next is 601, and then the fourth one is 600. So whenever he has calculated the mean weight, it was again 600. Up to this point, is it okay? Yeah. Then based on this, so this is the weight of the parental seed is X. And then when we have selfed it and then have obtained 100 seeds, when I took the mean weight of all these 100 seeds, what will be the mean weight of these 100 seeds?
X.
Same
X.
as parents.
Same as
X.
parent. That is the point that you need to note. Okay. It will be same as the parental seed weight, right? Which means there is no variation, right? There is no variation from the parent to progeny. Is this point okay? Someone told that it will be exactly similar to parent. That is the point that you need to emphasize. Okay. It will be similar to parent, and then both will be same, which means whatever the parent has, the progeny has the same thing, right? What transmits from parent to progeny? Genes transmits, right? Which means genetic factor is the one which influences your seed weight. Okay. That is the only one which influence your seed weight when you self them. Go on self them, and when you fix the genotype. For suppose there is a condition. Okay. So 600, and then I have selfed it, and then I have obtained four big seeds. So this is 600, this is 598, this is 602, and suddenly this has become 300 mg. Okay. According to our experiment, what we said, so if we self and then if we take the mean weight of all the seeds, it should be very similar to your parental one. So in this case, whether the mean weight will be similar to the parental one or it will deviate from the parental one.
Deviate.
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 Yeah. But the thing is, let us consider the genotype of this seed is capital A, capital A, and then upon selfing, you will again get capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A, capital A, and even here it will be capital A, capital A. But even though it is capital A, it is giving a seed weight of 300 mg. So the only one reason why it is giving the mean weight deviating from its parent is that it has some influence of environment. Okay. Only then the seed weight has got deviated. So the first point that you said is continuous selfing leads to homozygosity. That is the first point. And then the second point is whatever the variation that you see in a pure line. So since you are selfing it, upon continuous selfing, you have obtained this, and this. So now these are your pure lines, right? So upon continuous selfing, you have obtained pure lines, but one pure line it has deviated. So this we can put in such a point that so the variation that we see within a pure line, which means all the pure lines are derived from only this single one, right? Which means all the pure lines. So whatever the variation that you see within a pure line is due to what?
Influence of environment.
Environment.
Yeah, is due to the environment. Okay. So this is most important statement. So did everyone understand this statement? The variation within a pure line is due to environmental condition or due to environmental factors. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is very important statement. This is the uh, what do you if I want to say this is a main future of pure line theory. Okay. And then so you again self-food this one. You will again obtain the seeds. Okay. And again the mean seed weight is 600. If you have again selected this one, again seeds are obtained. Again it is 600. Again this one. Again you have self and again obtained the seeds. Every time the mean weight, did it change?
No, sir.
So from this statement, we can say that selection within a pure line is ineffective. Is ineffective. So is this statement okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are very three important statements. First thing is that upon selfing or upon continuous inbreeding, your homozygosity gets increased. Second thing is that whatever the variation that we see within a pure line is completely due to environmental factors. And third statement is selection within a pure line is ineffective, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this has got 300 mg just because of environmental factors. Whenever you again self this seed which has 300 mg, again it will produce different seeds. All these different seeds, when you take the mean weight, it will be again 600. Only because of the environment, the seed weight has changed, but what did not change is your genotype, right? So again, all these seeds will have this similar genotype, capital A, capital A in everything. And then when you take the mean weight, it will be 600. Okay. Got these three statements. These are very three important statements. Okay. Hope everyone understood these statements.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just remember who gave this theory, in which crop, he belongs to which country, and then what are the three different futures of this theory. Okay. And then the effect of self-pollination is upon continuous selfing, you will ultimately end up with your 100% homozygosity, right? Okay. So it is practiced in the self-pollinated crop. This is the thing. So this is your just visualization of a pure line breeding method, where from a variable population, just like Johansson, he got the seed lot from market. Just like that, if you have any variable population, you will just select the plants which are superior, and then you will forward them. Again, you will select the plants which are superior, you will forward them. Okay. And then ultimately you will select a very few plants, and then you will try to produce more and more number of seeds, right? Upon continuous selfing, you will just fix the genotype of that plant. And if that plant is performing well than the other checks or varieties in a region, you will just release it as another new variety, right? The main thing here is that you need to understand the pure line theory, right? If you are okay with pure line theory, then I'll go to the next method of breeding. Or if anyone has any doubt, you can just ask now before going into the other concept. Okay, I hope that everyone is clear. So this is the first breeding method that we dealt. That is your pure line selection. It is just nothing but go on selfing and then selfing the superior plant, again identifying the superior one, self them, and then if it outpars your check or variety in a region, then you release it as a new variety. Okay, it is as simple as that. And what is the consequence of a pure line selection? What happens ultimately? What is the effect of your self pollination?
Homozygosity increases.
Ultimately you will increase the homozygosity, and then you will fix the genotype, right? So that is the thing. And then the next selection that we see is mass selection. So now you just said that um, pure line selection is practiced only in self-pollinated crops. So what about your mass selection?
Both.
Mass selection can be practiced in both self-pollinated as well as cross-pollinated crops. Okay, this is the thing. So we'll see what are the different types of mass selection, what is the procedure, and then modifications. Okay, there are few modifications to the mass selection. We'll just touch upon them. So can anyone say um, mass select? There is one particular basis on which mass selection is practiced. Do anyone know what is the basis on what we which
So
on what we
phenotype.
will? Yeah. Okay. So the basis of your mass selection is phenotype. You just look on the phenotype, select the superior one, forward them. Again, look on the phenotype, select the superior one, forward them. It is just as simple as that. Okay. It can be practiced in both your self-pollinated as well as cross-pollinated crops, right? So coming to different types of mass selection, there are two types. One is your positive mass selection, and the second is negative mass selection. These are just like exclusively interchangeable types of things. So positive mass selection is a selection when you just select the desirable plants from a heterogeneous population, and then you will bulk their seed, and then you will forward it. Okay, it is nothing but selection of desirable plants, and then after selecting them, you will harvest, you will bulk the seed, and then you will forward. And then in case of negative mass selection, um, here what you do is you will select only the undesirable ones. Okay, and then you will cull out from the heterogeneous population, right? So we are removing them. It falls under your negative mass selection. We are only selecting the desirable ones, and then you are forwarding them. It falls under the positive mass selection. That's it. So based on these two, just like selecting the desirable one, forwarding them, and then culling out or removing the undesirable one, these two methods. So based on these two things, where will you find that we can purify the varieties? In which method?
Negative mass selection.
Why?
We are removing the undesirable ones.
Yeah, we are removing the off types, right? So if you want to maintain the purity of the variety, you just need not to select the desirable one. Sometimes off type may also be looking like superior one, the one with good phenotype. You can select it and you can forward it. But when you employ negative mass selection, where you will remove the off type, right? This helps in purifying your variety, right? So this is the brief explanation about what are the different types of mass selection. And then who gave the mass selection? Any idea? Pure line selection,
Johnson.
Johansson. Mass selection. Yeah, someone was telling mass selection was given by
Jensen.
Jensen. Okay.
I'm not getting properly remember, sir.
Okay. So go back and then you will not find who gave mass selection in Punnan Singh or BD Singh. Just try to find out who gave mass selection.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And then there are, I said you, one is to improve the variety and then second is to purify the variety. We will just see the procedure just in visualizing. So mass selection, it is, let us consider the source population as your heterogeneous population. And then what you do is like you can select the plants with what? What is the basis of mass selection? Phenotype,
Phenotype.
right? So with the superior phenotype, you just select the plants. Let us consider you have selected this, harvest them, bulk the seed, and then grow them. Again, you practice the same thing. You have selected this plant, this plant, this plant, and then this plant. Harvest the seed, bulk them, and then grow them. And then you will be having the preliminary yield trial, advanced yield trials, etc. And ultimately, you will release the best performing plant or a best performing group of plants as your variety, right? So this is for your cultivar development. Mass selection can be used for two things. First thing is your cultivar development. And then what is the second thing for which mass selection can be utilized? We have discussed both in positive as well as negative. One is for cultivar development and
Purification of variety.
yeah, it can also be used in purification. So if you want to purify, what you need to do? We need to identify the off types and then we need to cull out the off types, right? So from the source population onwards, you need to see which is the off type and then remove them, forward only the true to type plants, right? Similarly, in the next year, identify the true to type one, remove the off type, and then forward. So ultimately, you will obtain with the purified variety, right? So these are the two important procedures of your mass selection. One is it can be used for developing a cultivar, and then for some other reason there is an admixture or this cultivar has got polluted. Let us assume, okay, with some other seeds. So in order to purify, you will again use the mass selection, okay, for purification of the cultivar. So are these both the methods clear? How you will develop a cultivar and then how you will purify a cultivar using mass selection.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then there is one thing like what are the modifications to mass selection. So have you um, came across like stratification of the field?
Yes, sir.
So what do you mean by that stratification?
Sir, we can't. It may, sorry, that in mass selection, sir, that field regarding to fertilizer, we can't spread even fertilizers or else nutrient content to all over the field. So we will make some plot sizes of of a field, and we will do mass selections.
Yeah, which means you will divide the field into different grids, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm. So this stratification, or it is also known as your grid method in mass selection. So it is your grid method. And then the scientist who gave this method, any idea? So Gardner was a scientist who gave the modification of mass selection. He just divided the field into different grids for ensuring the uniformity. Okay. And then there is one another modification, that is your honeycomb design. Just remember this. Yes, they will divide the fields into honeycomb structures, and then they will practice the mass selection. Just as simple as that. Okay. One is your grid method, and then second is your honeycomb method. Right? Clear about mass selection? Main
Yes, sir.
important point is mass selection can be practiced in both self as well as your cross-pollinated crops. Okay. Clear? Okay. So if you are clear with both the pure line selection and then mass selection, let us get into the another breeding method. It is not actually a breeding method. It is a concept in self-pollinated crops. We generally practice. It can also be practiced in all the types of pollinated plants. So the next method is your progeny selection. Who gave this method? The progeny selection method?
Will Morin.
Will Morin. Yeah. Complete name? His name was Louis D. Vilmorin. Okay. So he was a scientist who gave this progeny selection. And then in which crop he demonstrated it?
So wheat and sugar.
Wheat and
Sugar beet.
sugar beet. Okay. This is the main crop. And then why he performed this in sugar beet? Any idea?
Increasing sugar content.
What?
So just to increase the sugar content.
Yeah, he performed the progeny selection in sugar beet in order to increase the sugar content of the sugar beet. Okay. And then go back and read what is the scientific name of sugar beet.
Vita vulgaris.
That is most important. Okay. So the term itself says everything. The definition is given by the term itself, progeny selection, which means what is the basis of your selection?
Performance of progeny.
Progeny, simple. Just like you have three plants, X1, X2, X3. So let us consider it is a self-pollinated plant. So you will just self it, and then you will grow all the progenies. Similar is here. Similar is here. So let us consider that if the performance of all these progenies are good, what will you say? The parent is good, right? That's it. Similarly, if the performance of all these progenies is average, then the parent is average. If the performance of all these progenies are below average, so your parent is also below average, which means you are actually assessing the genetic worth of the parent through their progenies, right? This is what you call as progeny test. Okay. So ultimately, it is the test of the genotypic value of your parent. Okay, you are assessing the genetic worth of your parent through the progenies. Is it okay? The statement is very simple. It is nothing but based on the performance of your progeny, you are deciding the genetic worth of your parent. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Very simple. It is just like understanding the genetic worth of the parent through the developed progenies. This is what your progeny test is. Okay. So one main reason why he has done this progeny selection in sugar beet is to improve the sugar content. Very simple. And then remember the scientist name, crop, and then the sugar content and why it is done. It is done to know the genetic worth of the parent or the genotypic value. Both are same. Or the genotypic value of the parent. This is the sole reason why he has performed the progeny selection. Right? So I hope all the three methods that we discussed, the pure line selection, followed by a mass selection, and then the progeny selection are clear.
Yes, sir.
So if I ask anything like differentiate between mass selection and then progeny selection, that too based on what is the basis of selection. Okay. So let us consider mass and then progeny. What is the basis? What is the basis of selection? In mass selection, what is the basis?
Phenotype.
And in case of progeny,
Performance of progeny.
yeah, it is based on the performance of the progeny, right? Not solely on the progeny, it is the performance of your progeny performance. Okay. And then this is the main, what you call like the difference. Okay. What is the basis of mass selection? And then what is the basis of your progeny selection? Okay. I hope you understood all the three different methods that we discussed. Right? If you have any doubts, I'm ready to clarify. Yesterday, like one student has asked the split gene concept, whether it has been clarified.
No, sir.
No. Okay. I'll ask your particular mentor to again clarify it. Okay. Any other query? Just remember what are the main features of a pure line theory, who gave it, in which crop, what is the common name, scientific name. And one more thing is that whenever you come across the examples of the crops, like in which crop they have given it, also try to read about the chromosome number of that crop. Okay. It is most important. What will be the common chromosome number in most of the pulses? How much?
Sorry, crop 16.
16. For most of the pulses?
22.
22.
22. Okay. Okay. You just read about this. And then do you know any crop like hexaploid other than wheat? Other than wheat, hexaploid crop. Don't say rye. Other than wheat and rye. Triticale, that is what. Triticale. Other than triticale, wheat. Watermelon. Now, what is the common name of Ipomia batatas?
Sweet potato.
What is the ploidy level of sweet potato? Go through the ploidy level of sweet potato and how many chromosomes does it have? Okay. Just read about them. And any other query regarding this class? So I'll assume your silence has no queries. Okay. Okay then. So with this, all the three different types of selection, pure line, mass, and then progeny selection, I'll end today's class. And thank you all for attending. If you still have doubts, you can just message in the group. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. You can still message it in the group. Thank you all then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.